Hey guys, Logan Barbarian here, and we're back for We RRR Legion, episode number 5. Today with me we have Loot.
Hi guys.
And we're going to go ahead and talk about the guild bosses, a little bit of tactics on how to defeat each of the guild bosses, or not necessarily defeat each of the guild bosses, but what kind of tactics you want to bring into the fight against the particular guild bosses. We're also going to talk a little bit about the story campaign, and if you're running into problems on progression, and how to get more powerful to progress. So, Luke, go ahead and take it away and talk to us about the guild bosses a little bit.
Awesome. So, one of the things that I struggled with was each boss has their own unique mechanics, immunities, and mes effects that could make it very challenging for each boss in their own right. So it seems that if you're part of a guild, you can go into the guild and then go into the guild dungeon. There are 9 levels. So obviously 1 is the easiest. And then B9, that's your hardest boss. And just to give you an idea of power level, this guy is a level 70. So he's 30 levels above your 6-star character. And so we're level 40 at 6-star. He's level 70 at 6-star and 258,380 power. And that's for Odious. So
quite a lot.
Yeah, and what you'll notice is the same boss could be in multiple levels. And what's different between them is their level and their power. Their power level and their player level.
And essentially how much HP they have, how much damage they deal, right?
Exactly. How much, it's like their stats. How good are their stats? You know, the first boss, at least, I don't know if the order changes or what boss is available in what slot. I'm not sure how that works.
I know I've seen them change. So, because I know it used to be the first boss was like Boom-Baka, no, Acacian or Acacium, whatever they have them. Because the boss names are different than the character names to a little bit.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. It's like Bolin is this week's, or I don't know. Does it go every week? Is it guild specific? So if you kill the boss and then the next one spawns, it's just a random pool of bosses?
I'm leaning towards that it might be, yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So do you think that there could be a B1 Odious?
I don't think so. I think the first ones are going to be like the Bolin, the Acacian, or the Boom-Baka.
Okay.
I want to say that Acacian, or not Acacian, that Odium and Sacreus are going to be your like final 2 kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, which they are right now.
Right.
So
I want to say that those
is,
only appear later.
Sacreus is 8.
Yeah.
8 and 9. And 7 is Boom-Baka. At least in our guild right now. And it changes because I guess as you kill them, it could randomly pick one of, I don't know, 3?
Well, there's 5 different bosses total, right? So I want to say, say that like 1 through 6 is the first 3, and then 7, 8, and 9 are the other 2. I want to say that, but I'm not like 100% sure yet. Obviously, we haven't killed boss 5 and 6 a lot yet. So.
Right. Yeah, we're working on boss 6 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
anyway,
a beast.
let's go ahead and get into the tactics of.
Okay.
If we're fighting which boss, that determines our tactics, right?
Yes. So I don't remember who posted it, but somebody posted a great guide. Whether it was on Reddit or on the Discord channel, honestly, I don't remember. But what I do know is I copied and pasted it. So I apologize if this is your strategy out there. I'm borrowing it, not stealing it, and Hopefully some
Please
people
leave a
can get
comment so we
something
can
out of
thank you
it.
properly.
What's that?
Please leave a comment so we can thank you properly.
Yeah, leave a comment. So in the list, first is Sacreus. Now, Sacreus's mechanic is that if you try and heal your allies or yourself, it like makes Sacreus stronger, and then he gets, it says like Sacreus absorbs too much HP, and then he goes into a frenzy, and then kills you. Basically, it's like a enrage.
Yeah, it's even more powerful than the enrage, though.
Yeah, it's pretty much instant death. So the way that you want to get around that is you only want to heal him when he goes to sleep. I mean, you only want to heal yourself when you hurt him and you knock him out and he's sleeping. That's when you heal, because he can't hurt. He doesn't absorb it while he's sleeping.
Okay, so when does he go to sleep? Is it like every minute, or is it every so much damage, or
I think
you know
it's
that
after
much?
X amount of damage that you do.
Okay.
I think it's a damage thing. I'm honestly, I'm not sure. I always get him to go to sleep though, like quite a few times per round. I'll have to pay a little bit more attention to the next round to see what happens.
Oh,
But
and something else we didn't cover is that a boss fight has 5-minute timer.
yeah,
Right?
so that's really not true. I mean, it says that it's a 5-minute timer, but most of the bosses, I don't know, at like maybe a minute 20 or a minute 30, they go into an enrage phase and they wipe you.
Right, and I
Which is
think that
really
has to do
weird.
with whatever phase they're on.
Right.
Because
Right.
I'm under the impression that when you complete that phase, like you are successful, then it goes into the enrage and forces you to go out and come back in, essentially.
Oh, I never thought of that.
I think that's what it is. I'm not really sure. Because I've had fights that are longer than you because I'm a little bit weaker than you.
Yeah, and I do a lot of damage, and then he does that mechanic. I mean, I'd say the average team I bring in is, I don't know, 230 to 250,000.
Right. So I think that might play into it. But we're kind of sidetracking. Let's get back onto
Strategy.
top
So what
strategy.
what kind of tunes do you want to bring in? What kind of characters, right?
We're talking about Sacreus, right?
Still on Sacreus. So you want to bring key hero abilities are untreatable, magic defense, stun, and shields. So you're going to bring a tank. You're going to bring a stunner like Milla. You're going to bring...
I think ideally it's Milla for this one because she also has the untreatable.
Correct. Untreatable plus stun. So she's like the perfect
pretty ideal
stunner. And
but
then,
obviously a lot of characters have untreatable, so...
Right, but I don't know if there's a lot of characters. How many have stun and untreatable? Probably
I think it's just her that has
her.
both. But like example team that you might consider bringing would be her, maybe Apollo for his stun, maybe Mumading for his untreatable, or William for his untreatable, something like that. But
Yeah, that would work.
Milla I think fills that role really well because she has both untreatable and stun.
Well, you could bring whatever tank you want plus Milla plus maybe William for your ranged physical DPS.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who else does it from range. Do you?
Mumading has it. I know that.
What's he? He's a gunner.
Yeah, he's another gunner. He's also a 3-star, so he's a little bit easier to get.
Right.
William, unfortunately, the one you can synthesize is not the one with untreatable. So you need one of the other versions.
Oh, so let me ask you that. Which one is untreatable?
The fire and water both have untreatable, I know.
Oh, so mine just won't work.
Would not.
I have dark,
Well, not,
That
so.
doesn't.
I'm not. I'm not sure
work.
on the light and dark. I'm not sure on the light and dark. I haven't looked at those. So,
But
but
bottom
I can
line,
tell that the wood,
untreatable.
William, that you would synthesize is not one that has untreatable.
Right. I think that's wood.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So then you also bring a ranged magic DPS. So you've got a little bit of magic, a little bit of physical, and a healer. I personally use Water Leia. She's just my healer of choice. I have her stacked with a lot of magic defense, and she's very tanky. It's very difficult to kill my Leia. So that's why I bring her. And
Nice.
she also can revive your whole team.
So there's no particular mez effect that you need to be countering in this fight or anything like that?
No, the major mechanic is do not heal your team while while Sacreus is awake.
Okay.
So another thing then, probably don't, I would say in order to achieve that, you cannot run this fight on auto.
Oh, absolutely not.
If you run this
And that-
fight on auto, your
that's
healer is going to kill you.
That's true for a lot of these fights, I think.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
I mean, you can run them on auto. You're just going to do a lot better if you don't.
Well, yeah, I think the answer is yes for most of the bosses. I think Sacreus, though, if you run it on auto, your healer is going to end up killing your own team.
Right. And you'll just heal up whatever damage you did.
Right, exactly. All right, so that's Sacreus. Let's move on to the next guy, which is Acasium. Let me find him in the list. Okay. Acasium has 4 stages. The first one is called Pressure, which decreases damage by 90%. The second stage is called Annihilation, decreases damage by 90%.
Now, you're bringing up these phases. Is there different tactics for each phase?
There are.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go into the tactics for the first 2 phases then.
I'm trying to remember what it is. Hang on, let me open it up. All right. It gets complicated. So, Acasium's big thing is this thing called, I think it's called Landslide. Yeah. It's called Landslide. So, Landslide, basically it kills everybody. It's damage equal to 90% of your health.
Jeez.
It's called Slaughter. That's the name of it. That's insane. So you're very likely to die.
Because he just starts doing them back to back at the end.
Oh yeah, he just once he lands Landslide, it's over. You have to have a 6-star team with a chess piece on each of the people that's at like plus 15, or you're not going to live.
Jeez.
It's like some of my characters do survive, but that's only because they're truly maxed out. If I bring anybody in that's not quite there, and let's say I mess up, they're going to die.
Jeez.
So the question is how do you counteract that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what you have to do is you have to bring in one of each interrupter. So you're going to need, ideally, 3 interrupters. You need a stun.
All right. You need a knockdown, a stun, and an airborne?
That's correct.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen is he's got this, Acasium has this ability. It's called, what's it called? I think it's called Chaos Canopy. It's called Chaos Canopy.
Okay. And so that basically makes him resistant to a particular...
Yeah, he randomly chooses one interrupt that doesn't work.
Okay.
So
and that's why
he not paralyzes, but he becomes immune to, let's say, airborne. And then the next time he casts Chaos Canopy, it might change to stun.
So that's the big reason to bring all three.
That's correct. That's his
Be
major mechanic.
getting resistance to one of them.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, the thing to look out for is he changes his strategy 4 times. There's like four
4 phases.
phases.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. So it tells you right here. The phase that we're on, for example, right now is 2, and that's called Annihilation. So it says the Soul Guide appears during Annihilation and casts Curse of Destruction to deal damage over time.
Okay.
So he casts Annihilation. So if I were to go in, oh, somebody's attacking him right now.
So what additionally do you want in addition to these 3 interrupters? Do you want more damage? Do you want 2 healers?
2
Do you need
healers.
2 healers?
Yeah.
2 healers and 3 interrupters?
Yep.
You're just
2
basically
healers, 3
playing
interrupters.
musical chairs? You're just
Yeah.
playing musical chairs with them until you can meet the requisite for the phase?
Yep. Now, I sometimes don't do that though. I always bring in 3 interrupters, and I always bring in a healer. It's the last spot. Sometimes I might bring in extra DPS. It really depends on like how many lives he has left. So if he's really low and he's got maybe like 20 lives left, then I'll probably bring in more DPS just to try and, take him down.
Gotcha.
But if it's in the beginning, I probably want sustain.
Just to have a longer fight to deal more damage.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Make it last longer.
Gotcha. All right. Who's next on our list of bosses?
Next we have Boom-Baka, which the boss name is Boom-Baka. So he's got he's kind of interesting. You need a really odd team to beat him. It's really different than any of the other bosses. So you need a Templar and an Aether Tech, 2 interrupters, or one interrupter, a DPSer, and then also a healer. So he's got these 2 abilities. One is a taunt with Aether Tech for Roar of Armor, and the other one is a taunt that the Templar does, that the Templar protects you, called Roar of Protection.
Okay, so is it because he switches between his damage type then?
No, it's like he randomly casts these abilities that if you don't have a Templar, you can't protect your team. And then he does massive damage.
Okay.
I'm trying to bring him up here. So it's called Guardian Shout and Howl of Armor. Those are the 2 abilities.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what they do. Other thing to know is he is silence resistant, knockdown resistant, and your team cannot conceal. So if you use someone like Fervis or Milla or Cayman, they won't be able to go invisible.
That makes sense.
So he's got the thing called Howl of Armor, and it's like against Aether Techs. And so if you don't have a Templar to protect the Aether Tech ability, it deals insane damage, could go up to almost 40,000 physical damage.
Jeez.
So I mean that's a lot. And that's Howl of Armor. And then the opposite one is called Guardian Roar, and that's immune to Strike of Doom, and it says repel against Templars. So your Aether Tech protects you from Guardian Roar, and your Templar protects you from Howl of Armor, and they both do up to 40,000 damage.
Jeez.
So like I was doing this fight with just a Templar, I was getting destroyed. And then I read not even the guide, but I was reading the abilities and noticed that it repelled against certain things. So I was like, oh, you know what? Let's try that. And world of a difference.
Okay, so you're bringing the two different frontliners to protect each other.
Correct.
Okay.
So when one casts the ability, the other one protects you from the team. From the guy against your team.
Right. Okay.
And the
So
two
that's the thing to note about
interrupters are either stun and airborne.
Gotcha. Because it can't get knocked down.
Right.
Okay. So that's good.
And he
to
doesn't
know.
get silenced.
Which is actually relevant, I think, because silence is really powerful anyway.
Yep.
And I love using silencers as my choice of interruption. So that's definitely something good to note, is that he's immune to silence. All right.
Sorry about that.
No worries, I saw it.
My kid just came home. Hi, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Odious. Odious, I think.
Is he the last one?
Well, there's also Bolin.
Can we cover Bolin first?
Yeah, Bolin doesn't actually have a tactic.
Let's just, talk about that.
Yeah, so it just says beat him up.
So there's nothing special about Bolin. It's basically he's your introductory guild boss. He's your
Correct.
You're just trying to do as much damage as you can, as fast as you can, while protecting your team enough.
Yep.
Right? So a Templar, a Cleric, and a bunch of DPS.
Yeah, use a taunt and just basic boss. Bring a healer.
Okay. So one frontliner, one healer, and then 3 DPS.
Yep.
Sounds like a plan.
And an interrupter.
Right. That's part of your DPS package. If you want to have an interrupter versus, range DPS, that's up to you kind of thing.
Maybe like one interrupter with like 2 supports.
Yeah, two range DPS.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's not immune to anything. He's just, a regular boss. He's just got a lot more lives.
Oh, there's another boss I forgot about.
There's 6?
Yeah, there's Khorog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him before we get to Odious, then.
Okay. So
I want to save Odious for the end, because he seems like the final boss.
Khorog has 3 phases. Each phase, he's immune to a different interrupt. Phase 1, immune to airborne. Phase 2, immune to stun. Phase 3, immune to knockdown.
Okay. And those are his phases. Those are his, out-of-battle preparation kind of things. Those aren't things that he does in the battle.
No. This is these are kind of like guidelines.
Right. So I'm assuming that you're actually treating him similar to Gullin.
Yes.
In that you have 1 or 2 interrupters, some DPS, and you're just beating the heck out of him. You're just, depending on which phase he's in, is which interrupters you're bringing.
That's right.
So, okay.
It also says here that gunners and rangers are preferred.
Okay, so you want physical damage versus magical damage. So he has a higher magical defense, probably.
Yeah, I think so. I can't bring up his stats because we killed him.
That's fine.
I can't get in there right now.
We'll trust the notation of physical damage.
Yep. Yeah, I think they call it in the guide tank and spank.
That makes sense.
Each
That
phase,
makes
he's
sense.
immune to a specific combo. Okay. Last boss, Odious. The big bad Odious. Odious is tough. I've been working on him on B6, and I pushed him really far, and then he healed himself.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. He
What?
gave himself like 200 lives.
Oh my God! What the heck?
I had him in the 800s, and now he's back over 1,000. So he's
Good
got
Lord.
4 phases as well. Each phase is a different vortex. So a vortex is something that he casts, like during the fight.
Visibility.
Yeah. So, for example, the vortex of fire. He's immune against magic damage. That's what that vortex does.
Oh.
And if any, you need to bring a a healer that or a mez healer against confuse. Because what happens is if you get confused, he summons this void storm, it's called, and he instantly kills everyone.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So you need physical damage in this phase 2. Phase 1, I can't tell you what it is because that's not true. Phase 1, he's 90% of all damage taken is nullified. He grants terror. If there are any heroes inflicted with terror when using Void Storm, everybody dies.
Wow.
So phase 1 is terror, phase 2 is confuse. I don't know what
So it
phase 3 is.
sounds like you need different mez effect removals. So
Yeah,
we know that terror can be removed by Absalom,
that's right.
right? What about confused? Do we know who that is?
Ash, I'm pretty sure Ash can do confuse.
Okay.
I'm going to check
So it
right
sounds
now.
like you're going to need a variety of good healers
You
on your team.
do. You need a couple different clerics, or actually cleric or Songweaver.
Yeah.
But
If we use the term cleric, usually we're not referring specifically to cleric. We're referring to either of the healing classes. It's just we're using the term cleric loosely in that sense. So if it's confusing to you, we apologize, but that's what we're referring to is either of the healing classes. It's not just cleric.
so I'm checking heroes now. I don't know what phase 3 and 4 are. We haven't gotten that far yet.
Oh, okay.
But
So I guess the
definitely,
point is to look at what he does and what it's recommending you bring.
exactly.
Okay.
So
So
Ash
you
removes
have to be
sleep
prepared
and
for the
confuse.
you have to be prepared for his mez effect, is what you're saying.
Correct. And we
What
know that the first one is terror and the second one is confuse.
right. So what do you recommend as a team comp then?
I was just fighting him earlier. Let me see what I was using.
It sounds like as long as you have that mez specific character, you should be able to just go in and beat him up a little bit, right?
Yeah, you, yeah, you could. I just want to double
So
check.
is he immune to any of the combo statuses?
Yeah, I'm just double checking that right now. No. The only thing he's immune from is you can't conceal.
Okay.
So I'd probably bring Gullin and Bloodfang. So I'd have an airborne
So
and a
you're gonna bring
knockdown.
your tanks and interrupters of choice,
Yeah.
right? And then you have to bring a specific mez removal healer and
Yep.
then some form of DPS.
Right.
So a pretty standard team. It's just that the healer is going to be specific to whatever Mez effect he's using.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
And you just have to make sure, like, on your damage, because phase 2 is magic immunity, phase 3 is physical immunity.
Okay, so you want to make sure you're checking what kind of damage he's immune to so that your DPS isn't...
Yeah, exactly. Right. You need to bring
Okay.
in somebody that can do some damage.
Right, okay. So that actually makes me think that he can't be interrupted when he's physical immune, too.
No, he can. You can interrupt him, it just doesn't hurt him.
Okay, okay.
Because that's the phase that we're on. That's the phase that we were on, and now it reset. So, like, I took us all the way to phase 4, and then it went back to phase 1, and now we're on phase 2.
Okay.
So I got through the whole thing. And
that's something that you have to remember about the bosses. As you complete the phase, it'll move to the next phase. You have to complete them a certain number of times, and then it'll move to the next phase. Once it completes the final phase, it will go back to the phase 1.
That's right. It
doesn't just hang out
recycles.
At no phase. It just keeps going through those however many times it takes you to beat him. So.
Yep.
All right. So
frustrating. I wish it didn't.
Well, I mean,
I was smacking him so hard.
And that's the thing. He didn't want you smacking him so hard.
I know.
He's a big boss for a reason. He knows what's going on.
That's right. Yeah, he's an amazing boss, and he's an amazing character if you're lucky enough to get him, which I was not.
Right. I haven't gotten him either. I have been super lucky with 5-star pulls. I'm not gonna lie. Hate Mail hates me obviously because he still hasn't pulled one naturally. I've pulled 3.
Oh my! I've gotten 1. I did get 1.
Oh, you finally got one?
I got Wood Sakura.
Oh, nice. I got Fire Sakura, and
that's the better one.
I got Water Regis, who I actually really like because she gains evade when she crits, and then I got Wood Charlotte, which is funny because the story behind the Wood Charlotte. So I'm laying down with my daughter, getting ready to put her down for her nap in the afternoon. She's 2.5. She's almost 3. And I had a random single wood confinite in my inventory, and I was just poking around in Aion while I was trying to get her to go to sleep. And I'm like, you know what? I'll let her open it. My daughter's name is Charlotte. So she pokes.
Your daughter got a Charlotte. That's so great.
Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah, that's great.
So that's my story of my Charlotte obtaining me a Charlotte.
I don't have a kid named Odious. Damn, maybe I'll get a dog and name him Regis.
Every time I hear the word Regis, all I can think of is Regis Philbin.
I know, right? I want Regis. I can't even get the tunes that you need to send her.
Out of curiosity, she's the one that requires the fire Nora, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you can. It's just going to take you a while.
No, I know. I'm saying I can't even get the tunes that I can't even synthesize the tunes that are needed to synthesize her.
That's fair, because something about synthesizing, I'm finally at a point where I have, I think, 2 of the 4 stars that I could potentially synthesize. But I'm not sure I want to because it requires me to get rid of some of my light and dark heroes.
That's right.
Like, I don't like this.
You have to give up a lot.
I still haven't decided to try and synthesize yet. I'm getting to a point where I might because I really do want Gullen. So
Gullen is great.
I really want Gullen, and I haven't pulled one, and I'm like, you know...
Is it the fire Gullen?
It's the wood Gullen.
Wood Gullen. Not the best Gullen, but still good.
I mean, he's still Gullen, so I don't particularly care. Because he's a character that I want to play with him because I'm an ogre and he's a giant Picatar.
He is so, I tell you, he's got his leader skill is so good. I use him, he's basically, you want to use him in the dungeon. And
Okay.
his leader skill is made for the dungeon. It's plus 30% attack.
So he is the Prado of Dungeon.
He is the Prado of dungeon. Yep.
That's pretty
It's
cool.
the same exact value, except in, Prado's adventure, well, Gullen is his counterpart. But
And
only Fire Gullen.
Only Fire Gullen. Okay. That makes sense because it's Fire Prado that does it.
Now, it's interesting because the wood Gullen that you can synthesize this works on himself. His passive is increases critical hit chance by 100% and recovers 400% of attack as HP upon a critical hit. So every time he hits a crit, he heals.
And he's gonna crit.
Oh, yeah. And I would say build him with a crit set. Maybe as his jewelry, give him the critical hit jewelry.
I was thinking the reflect jewelry because he's gonna be healing so much. Let your opponents kill themselves.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's worth a shot.
Like he's one that I'm looking at. I'm like, I really, really like this ability, and I want to do it, but I don't want to lose these material guys yet, and that's why I'm having such a hard time with pulling the trigger on that synthesis. But we're sidetracking a little bit.
Right.
We did have one other topic that we wanted to cover a little bit, and we wanted to talk about story mode and campaign. Right, and if you run into problems as you're progressing through it, what are things that you can do to help?
That's a really good question. I have finished the story. So I can tell you there's going to come times where you need to increase your power level or you just won't be able to make it through. So what can you do? You can increase the stars. So if you're 4-star, definitely go to 5-star. Especially like when you hit Act 7. I think that's where you are right now, right, Ogre?
I just hit Act 7. My entire team is 5 stars. I'm really, really debating on when I should take somebody to 6.
Well, you're lucky. Okay, so why are you lucky? Because I don't know. Maybe it's the 3rd or 4th scene. It's super early in Act 7. You have to 6-star Ren.
Okay, so I'm getting to the point where I have to 6-star Ren then.
Yep, you're almost there.
Good to know. Now, what is so important about that 6-star versus a 5th?
Well, it increases your stats. It increases
significantly.
Yeah. And then it also lets you get to level 40. So then you get to start over at 0, and then you get 40 levels of more stats.
So it's just a huge stat boost so that your damage and your tankiness and everything else are just going to be way up there by comparison. So that 6-star is really, really important.
Yeah, it's really powerful. And I just found it. It is Act 7, Scene 6.
Okay. I think I'm on Scene 3 or 4 right now, so I'm getting close.
Oh, you're at B6. If you're at Scene 3, that's B6 of Fang Fortress. It starts getting hard.
Yeah,
right
I think
around
I'm actually
there.
right there, actually, yeah.
Yeah,
Fang
is tough.
I was getting my butt kicked by these 68k teams in the first area of Land of the Spirits. I fought a Cassius and a Velvet as the boss, and it was just the one level for this search mode, and this Cassius just shredded me because
Yep.
halfway through the fight, my team stopped targeting him and targeted the Velvet, and then he just shredded me. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I couldn't do anything to switch him back. I was like, stop it.
Yeah, it can get pretty hard. So besides raising your star, this is the time of the game, you really need to have equipment. You need to increase your quality of equipment, hit the equipment dungeons, get the equipment.
So when you say the quality of equipment, are you, okay, so I'm at the point where I have like 6-star legendary equipment and 6-star unique equipment and then 5-star unique equipment as the majority of my gear, right? I do have 6-star rare equipment still, but like I'm at that point where I can't just equip a new piece. I'm going to have to start enhancing them, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And also, very important, stat bonuses matter. So
yeah, I've started paying
there's
attention to
2
those.
sets and 4 sets. The 2 sets are silver. You get them in adventures. The 4 sets are gold, and you get them in dungeons.
I have one thing to say about the silver and gold piece. That is only for the main pieces of equipment. That is not including jewelry. Jewelry can either be silver or gold. It means nothing to the jewelry. They are specifically always a 2 set.
That's correct.
So.
Totally doesn't matter. It's actually like dungeon specific. Their colors just don't matter.
Right. So okay. So and then something else about jewelry, I assume, is that you want to pay attention to what secondary stat it is giving you.
Absolutely.
Right. Whether it's will,
and
strength.
The thing about it, it's not even just secondary. Like some of them, if you have a green, I'm trying to remember what they're called, rare. So the major difference that I've seen, besides the fact that the orange or unique give you higher levels of stats, the green ones, you have to unlock the stats. Like you have to. So like 2 of them you're blind to what they are, and the blue ones.
That's not what I was referring to
as
secondary stats. That's not what I was referring to as secondary stat.
Oh, okay.
Like necklaces, I think give you debuff resistance, but then the other stat that it affects is random between the 4 base stats.
You are correct.
So you want to pay attention to which base stat is being affected, because if you equip an agility piece on a Templar, it doesn't really do a whole lot for him. Whereas if you put a strength one on him, it boosts his attack, boosts his HP, boosts his block rate and everything else, because that's what his strength does for Templars.
Okay, you just blew my mind. I didn't know that.
Wait, what?
I didn't realize that at all. So let me ask you a question. I'm looking at
my
purpose.
Right?
What?
There's 4 base stats, right?
Right, so I didn't realize that.
Agility, will, and intelligence. Right?
So how do I know, for example, what the base stat is for my assassin?
Okay, so there's different categories of equipment, right? And the equipment, if you look at I believe it's the glove and the boot. It might even be on the chest, but you know how you can scroll to the right on your equipment and see which classes can equip the equipment?
Yeah.
Right? Those classes are all going to care about that particular base stat.
Okay.
So like Furvis is an assassin. Assassins, gunners, and rangers all care about agility, and they can all equip the same equipment.
Right. So I want to go after agility?
If you're working assassin, gunner, or ranger, yes.
So even though I've got evade, ring, and necklace on to get that 10% boost, I'm really almost slighting myself because
If those don't
their
have
secondary stat is strength.
right, you're cutting yourself just a little bit short because each class has a base stat that affects their HP and attack as well.
I didn't know that.
It's one of the little pop-ups during the load screens that tells you.
I don't pay attention.
Specify which one is what, but it says that if you increase the base stat that is particular to the class, it'll increase their attack and HP as well.
That's awesome. That is fantastic.
You want to pay attention to those.
Oh man, now I have so much more grinding to do. Because now I've got an awesome, unique evade ring, but it's got the wrong substat.
That sucks.
That sucks. And I have it at plus 15.
That sucks.
That sucks. Oh well. I'm going to keep it on there for now because it is giving me that plus 10%. But man, what a bummer.
I mean, I'm not saying that you did it wrong.
I didn't do it wrong. This is just I used what I had.
Right, you're not optimized.
I'm not optimized.
Right. And that is something that, again, you're at a point where you can pay attention to that. I'm not at that point yet. But I am trying.
I'm like tweaking things to get that extra push.
Right. I'm not at that point yet. I do try to pay attention to it, but we're kind of sidetracking a little bit from what we were talking about.
All right. So how do you get past these harder levels, and what gear should you upgrade? Well, the truth is, anything this is how I feel. This might not be the right path or how other people think. To me, as I've said before, money is like less important. Not that it's not important, but I don't mind paying to play. So gold.
Actual money or gold?
Yeah, like I don't actually mind paying to play the game. So if something costs gold to upgrade, I'm like, all right, you know what? No problem. I'll just go farm some more. So I will take a legendary piece. If it's really good, I'll take it to all the way to 15. You know, if it's going to help me progress through the story, even if I'm going to replace it, even if it's temporary, I'd rather have it all the way boosted.
Now, saying that, obviously, as you're lower in the story, you don't want to bring it all the way up.
No reason to. But when you've hit the wall, now I would say the Fang dungeon, that's a wall. It's a really tough dungeon. If you've got anything that's blue, what I was doing, I only take things to 15 blue when it's like a piece that's great. If it's not great, I'm not dumb. I'm not going to be stupid about it. But I usually take it to at least plus 9. And the reason why I do that is because there's a stat that you can't use until you go to plus 9. Yeah.
The unlockable stat. Okay.
So I'm going to take it to 9, just so I get that extra stat. Now you got to be careful. Sometimes that extra stat is not what you wanted, and it hurts you.
Yeah, it could be garbage.
No, worse than that.
All of a sudden, my sorcerer has threat level, and I'm like, why? I don't want threat level on my sorcerer.
Exactly. It could be threat level, and then you're screwed. So it's a little bit of a gamble.
Right.
Sometimes you'll get lucky, and sometimes you'll get burned.
So here's a question for you, now that you're in the much later game. Has there been times where you upgrade equipment before you equip it?
Yes. That's a very good question, and the answer is yes. If something has that stat like a blue piece, and I'm on the fence of, well, if it's threat level, I don't want it. I will, but let's say it's threat level, I don't want it on this character, but that would be great for my Templar. You know, like, so I'll upgrade it in my inventory. I'll bring it to 9. I'll see what the stat is, and then I'll make a choice.
Okay. Now, obviously, that's something you're not doing until the way late game, but
Correct.
that is something that you do at that point.
Oh,
Okay.
I do that. I don't know if everybody does that, but I do that.
Right. No, I'm saying just like as an example for people that are lower, lower end, still working their way through story. This isn't something that you're gonna do at that point.
Right. I think, you know what? Maybe it's a game of inches, and it's really a gambling kind of thing, because if you try, you don't want to go too far, but you don't want to go not far enough. So that's why I said going in 9, it's probably not that expensive. Your success rate is going to be probably pretty good to get to 9. After 9, it gets kind of bad, but to get to 9, it's usually pretty good success.
Okay. And
let's talk
if you
about
use the 5 times success rate. Do you use
no way.
Okay. Don't use that.
Well, because you have to use
right?
Aether, and I don't have any.
Aether? Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
isn't it Aether?
It's Aether or gems. I'm not sure. I think it depends on the equipment.
Okay.
If it's gold upgrade, it costs Aether to boost the success rate. Whereas if it's a heroic piece with purple equipment, it costs Aether to upgrade and then gems to boost.
Yeah, that's for the purple stuff.
Right. And if you're lucky enough to have a purple equipment at any point throughout the game, that's incredible because they are literally unique to a character.
And
right?
their drop rate is so low.
Right. So if you get a purple equipment, just slap it on. It's going to be more powerful than anything else you can get.
That's right.
Because they can only appear at 6-star. Right. And they are specific to a character.
I'll give you an example. I've got the Tanku chess piece, and I enhanced it one time, and its HP is 74,280.
Good Lord.
Yep. That is insane. Like, totally bonkers. I'm trying to see how much total health this guy has. It's like, it's astronomical. Oh my God. He's got 197,546 health.
And almost half of that is from that one piece.
Yep.
Wow.
That is just so impressive.
So if you are lucky enough to pull a purple gear, equip it and watch your power level skyrocket.
Now, it's not that I'm looking at another chess piece that's unique, but it's unique, and I'll give you an example. At +0, its HP is 22,819. Okay? So that's significantly lower. It takes, I think, okay, at +10, it's 61,000. At +12, I don't have an 11, but +12, it's 106,000. So it takes you 12 upgrades to really compete, or 11 upgrades to compete with that purple piece.
Wow.
That's just
crazy.
Massive.
So
you asked a question earlier about gold and silver, and do I go with a 4-set piece or 2 2s, or what combo you use? I usually don't go for a 4-set unless the 4-set bonus is something truly unique. And I'm going to give you an example. So I'm running Poise Armor on
Okay.
Bloodfang. Poise Armor has a unique trait that is only available if you equip all 4 pieces. You generate 2 impenetrable shields whenever you use your special skill.
So he'll basically absorb 2 attacks.
Oh, it's more than just 2 attacks. Yeah, he can absorb 2 landslides from Ocasian. He can take 2 ultimates or 2 ultras, 2 supers, whatever game you're thinking of that like has like that super duper attack. He can get hit twice.
Wow.
And then if he uses his attack again, he gets it right back. But
so
that's
you
rare.
want to pay attention to the ones that offer a unique buff versus the ones that are just like additional HP or additional crit rate or whatever. Because you can find those in other places.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to give you another example. Let's do Fervus. Let's do the assassin. So you want to build, or at least this is what I was told to do. So I'm going off what other people shared with me and their experiences and how they built him. And then I checked some of the leaderboard and saw how they built him. So it seems that you want to stack him with as much evade as possible. So what I did is I took 2 pieces from Deluge, which is you get it from one of the equipment dungeons. You get it from Shrine of the Abyss. And what it does in its 2 set gives you evade plus 15. Now, if you go with the 4 set, you get evade plus 15 and increase attack by 10%, which I guess is cool, but it doesn't give me more evasion. So what I did is I did the Deluge plus Quick Armor, which is the silver version of Deluge, and that's available in one of the adventures called Abandoned Bastion.
Okay,
I don't
so
remember what
basically
level it is.
I want to say that's 8.
I think it's 7.
Chapter 7 I just unlocked is Land of Spirits.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're right. It is 8. And I actually was able to unlock 9. I can't remember what it is at the moment, but it'll come to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something about home.
Oh, Path Home or something?
Something like that. So what Quick does is it gives you, for the 2 set, evade rate of plus 8. So I'm getting plus 15 from Deluge, and then another 8 from Quick. And then
23.
To stack it again, I did a ring necklace plus 10 evade. So
33% evade. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's an additional 33%.
And
takes
that's
him up.
not to say that you couldn't also have evade and evade rate elsewhere in his gear.
That's right. Some of the substats on the gear is additionally based. So on the Quick gloves, he's got another stat, another 8% just from his gloves, like in one of the substats.
So a 41% evade. That's crazy.
Wait, and that's just the gloves. Then I also have it on the chest piece. I've got it on the boots. And I've got it on the necklace.
Oh wow. So you're really stacked with evade.
Yeah. I was told stack it, so I went as high as I could. I was told anywhere around 108 to 110% is kind of like where you want it to be. I was able to get to 108%. That's what I have, 108%. I think the only way to do it with a little bit more evade is in my weapon to get a substat of evade. I'm sure it's there somewhere. I mean, I think you can get it on the weapon. Not positive.
I have no idea.
Oh, you can. I found it on the weapon, but not on the right weapon. So if I want to grind Deluge Armor in Shrine of the Abyss, I guess I could get it, but I might never get it because the drop rates are very low and there's a very large
It's not that the
amount.
drop rates are low. It's that you get one piece of equipment, and everything is randomized, and there are
And there's a
so many
huge
variables.
pool.
So many variables.
So many. The pool is so big. Huge.
Because you have to get on the right weapon, you have to get it with the right type, which means that it has to be the deluge. You
Right.
have to get the substat. You have to get, like, there's so many variables that are all very small because there's so many of them.
That's right.
So
Or if you
Now-
want, you can buy it.
that's what I was going to say. Since we're talking about this, because there are so many different variables when you're farming the dungeons, is it more efficient to take excess gems and go to a secret shop and pick up a specific force set that you want?
My opinion is yes. I don't know if everybody shares that opinion, but my opinion is yes. And I've probably bought 7 sets,
Wow.
for like 7 different characters.
Right.
But the thing is, it's also random. So what I mean by that is, if I were to go into the store right now, first, it lists like the character type, so gladiator. Well, in this shop, they're only selling Valor. So if I needed Valor, you get 4 pieces of 6-star. It could be legendary or unique. So you're not guaranteed the orange item.
Orange.
Say again?
Blue or orange.
Correct. So it can be blue or orange, 6-star, but you're not guaranteed 2 orange and 2 blue. It could be all blue. You get 4 blues, or you can get 4 oranges. It's totally random.
Right, okay.
And the substats are obviously totally random.
Tracking into this gear a little bit hard. The long and short of everything that we're talking about today was, if you're having trouble progressing in story mode, take a look at your team. Is this a balanced team? Do I have the right, types of things? Do I have the right interrupt? Do I have the right link skill? Do I have enough stars? Do I have enough gear? Is my gear enhanced enough? These are all different things that you can look at to alter, to help your progression through story mode. Is there anything else that would help you get through story mode? Oh, one other thing you can do would be to include your friends' sidekicks.
Yes.
If the mission allows you to.
And most of them do.
Right. The only ones that don't are the final act, or the final scene of the act, that I know of.
I know one of our guildmates has flat out said to me, if it wasn't for your Fervus, I would be stuck.
Right.
I
So
mean,
here's
he's so
something else
stacked.
something else I want to point out, because I don't know if people realize this. You're only allowed to designate one character on your roster as your sidekick handout. And the way you do that is in your hero tab. There's a little like badge icon next to the lock icon. If you click that badge icon, it makes that character your handout sidekick. I don't know if people know that, because I see a lot of people that have Ren, which is who it starts on, obviously, and then there's a lot of people that have like on Astria or Blair or whoever healer, and it's like, why are you sending me a healer? Don't send me a tank. I don't need these characters. I need some more DPS, obviously, if I'm getting wrecked. So highlight your best DPS or interrupt character.
Remember, this is going to help your friends.
Right. And every time your friend takes your sidekick, you get 15 social coins. So it helps you too in the end. So pick a
I
good
did not know that.
Yeah, that's where you get the 15.
I am going to be using everybody's sidekicks from now on all the time just to help them out.
I've been trying to.
I had no idea. I don't usually need a sidekick, so I don't usually
Right.
use it.
But they get it whether you bring them into the battle or if they're just sitting on the sideline the whole time.
Well, I know for now on I'm going to use the sidekicks to help people out.
And there you go.
So if I get 15 coins,
yeah, something
it's from
else
someone
to point
else.
out about if your guild activates the buff for secret shops, don't purchase from your secret shop. Go to your friends' secret shops and purchase from them because they get a kickback on anything you spend.
That's right.
You don't get it if you buy it from your own shop.
That's a good tip.
Only purchase from your friends' shops, and you're giving them 1/10 of whatever you spent.
Yeah,
So
that's definitely the way to go.
It's a way to keep gems circulating within the guild without losing all of them, essentially. It's just a little tip to help resource management that I've kind of realized that I know we haven't talked about yet. So that's something that I think people should be doing.
That's a good tip. I'm going to start. I usually, that particular thing I do, but I didn't know about the sidekick, and I think that's great.
It's important. All of these, they add up.
I'm sure they do. I was always wondering, why do I get more coins versus less? And I guess people use my sidekick.
Well, yeah, you have a really powerful sidekick, so.
Yeah, he's standing now at 55K.
If you want people to use your sidekick, make sure it's a character that they're going to want to take. Don't bring in a superpowered Astria because she's still just an Astria.
That's right. Remember, you only get to use the sidekick once one of your party members dies.
Right, but you can only select the sidekick once every 12 hours also, I think.
I think you could select it you could use your whole list, like back to back to back.
Use the whole list, but they do go on cooldown.
Right, so if you wanted to use my Fervus, you could only have them once every 12 hours. But you could use my Fervus and your Fervus, or someone else's fight, like back-to-back fights.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that you want to do just to help out your guildmates and your friends list to boost them up a little bit.
I love it. That's awesome.
Those are my resource management tips. And I think that's actually a good spot to go ahead and call it.
I think we're going to wrap it up.
Here.
I got a race on TV I'm going to get to. Good NASCAR event. And, all right, well, thanks, everybody, for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show.
One more thing before we go. Hate Mail entered our first episode of the podcast into the content creators contest that Aion NCSoft held, and we were selected as one of the winners.
I know. How cool is that?
I know, right? And so we are now technically award-winning Aion podcast.
We made it. We're here. We're content creators. Yes.
Hey. So shout out to them. Thank you guys. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you have anything specific you want us to talk about in the future, please leave a comment. Otherwise, we won't know what you want us to talk about. And we'll just keep randomly rambling about gear and other stuff like that is relevant to us. So,
so now we can have this title of award-winning Aion podcast. I wonder. I mean, I wonder how much clout that'll give us in the community. But that's still something cool to have. But yeah, congrats again to all you guys who helped us out make the first video that we submitted. So it was mainly Hate Mail, you, and Loot were on that first video, or first podcast rather.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully we can take that and progress to better and bigger things. So, for all you guys listening, thanks for listening and contributing and supporting the podcast. And if Hate Mail didn't say it enough already, consider becoming a patron on our Patreon page, patreon.com/We RRR Legion.
Thanks for listening again.
Hello everyone, Hey Mail here. To thank everyone for the support and to the Aion team for selecting us as the winner of their contest. Thanks again.
If you feel like we're doing a good job and you want to donate to us, you can do that at Patreon/We RRR Legion. You can follow us on YouTube at WRL Broadcasts, SoundCloud, and everything else, obviously. I'm sure you guys are already listening to this, so you kind of know where we are. Thanks for listening. Luke, do you have any final words?
No. Thanks. Have a great rest of the weekend. Can't wait to get back on Aion and get right back into it and come up with some new content for next week.
Thanks for listening.
All right.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yep, thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to this episode of We RRR Legion, a WROL broadcast production. If you liked the show, consider becoming a Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/We RRR Legion and don't forget to like and subscribe.